Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to episode 33 of There's No Crying in Crochet. This is the podcast where we take your everyday frustrations and we give you solutions. And so I am Biz from Busy Crochet. I'm totally out of breath because I'm so excited to be here. And this is my gorgeous co-host.
I am Debbie from Madam Stitch.
So welcome, everybody. We're just going to do some quick business before we move on to the chit chat of the day. All right. So if you are on YouTube, please make sure that you like Busy Crochet and Madam Stitch Crochet so that you can follow our videos and tutorials. If you are streaming this on Facebook, make sure that you give StreamYard permission to see your name so that we can see your name. And that's all it gets used for. We don't, store any information. And what's up this week, Deb?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Let's see. What's
up? It was a question out of the blue.
Yeah. Man, I've just been crocheting up a storm, and for those of you who don't know, I'm on a quest to go through my entire craft room office and go through every scrap of yarn, everything, all the magazines, all the things, and get it to a place where there is nothing on the floor except under things. And my 11-year-old grandson is helping with it. He loves to organize. So what we have already are the beautiful shells. I'm not going to show you the floor because it still looks like something threw up all over it. But yesterday, it was funny. He found one of my old projects. It was something that I had completely abandoned because I realized that there was never any way I was going to get good product photos. It was in black. It's like, no, you're never going to see it. So I abandoned it. He picks it up and he goes, I love this yarn. So he wound 8 balls of yarn from those projects, and he's so proud of himself. And so I have to figure out something to make him, because I think he watches these too. So now he knows what I have planned. So,
oh, funny.
Hey, Mr. Grandson. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. Plus, the crocheting is something that we're going to talk about later in the podcast. So I'm not going to spill the beans yet. But Biz, what have you been up to?
We have been busy little bees, and let's see. Mine is all the crochet that we're going to talk about later. So really, it's been, as far as like life, it's pretty chill. I'm incorporating more fish into my diet. Trying to drink my water. And I've been binge watching my People Investigates TV show. I'm on my last season.
Oh no!
That means I'm going to run out of something to watch pretty soon. Yeah. So other than that, it's just been a lot of work, a lot of
crochet. Yes, a lot of crochet, which is a good thing.
Yes, because I had so much to catch up on from when I got hurt.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot to catch up on. So, alrighty. So this week's topic, we are going to be chitting and chatting about what is a cal. A lot of us are already familiar with cals. If you've been in the crochet community or the crochet world for any length of time at all, you have probably seen the word cal. You've maybe participated in a cal. There are many levels to this. So, talk to us about what is a cal, Deb.
Well, we're actually talking about it from the designer perspective. So
this is true.
You all think about it from the maker perspective, but we're going to address what goes into making a cal. But a cal is short for crochet-along, and it just means that there's a common project that everyone is making. And the designer or designers, whoever is running the cal, usually release sections of it so that everyone is making the project, hopefully at the same time and at the same pace. And it's just a great, fun way to get together and do something that's the same. You can ask questions if you run into a problem, and a gajillion other people are working on it. So usually the answer is right there for you. And it's just a fun way to be a crochet community for a hot second.
Yeah, and that's probably my favorite part of a cal is the community aspect of it.
Mhm.
Seeing what everybody else is making, and I'm a big fan of use your stash, use up your scraps, use what you have. When I do a cal, a lot of times I really push use what you have.
Mhm.
um we're going to get into more specific questions regarding that kind of stuff in just a little bit, but like you said, we are going to be talking today from a designer's point of view. And actually, for the month of February, we're kind of tackling the cal subject, because we're going to give it to you from designer's aspect today, and then in a couple of weeks, because next week is our crochet skills class. But in a couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about it from a maker's point of view. So, I mean, we're not skipping over that. We're just picking which sections we're going to talk about first.
Mhm.
So what goes into putting together a cal? Um, I I know you've put together some. I've put together a few. So, which question do you want to tackle first?
Oh gosh. Well, how do we come up with a design? There are a lot of things that go into choosing what the design is, and right now, I think the most popular cal is usually a blanket because that lends itself very well um, to being done in pieces and having everybody do it together. But you can do lots of different things as a cal. So the first thing the designer comes up with is what kind of design is everybody going to like, and what can you do that allows you to release it in sections so it's not confusing, so it's a logical progression from start to finish.
Yes, definitely. I do. I shouldn't say that I do it every year, because from about 2017, I've been doing Christmas cals and a Christmas blanket cal. And now there's been a couple of years where we've done just a make along as opposed to, a fully hosted cal by myself. But in the years that I have done where it is a fully hosted cal, what I do is a little bit of research ahead of time. I come up with maybe a theme of what I want the Christmas blanket to be about. And I will ask people, well, we'll just say songs of the season. That was one of the cals that I did. And so I asked everybody, what is your favorite Christmas song? Because each section of the blanket was based on a Christmas song. So, like, I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. We did a gray background with cross stitched hippos on it. So, and we try to throw different, textures and everything in there. But so it was a really great feedback. I got a lot of feedback from people because I created a poll where I had like the ones that I was thinking. And I'm like, hey, put in whatever songs you're interested in. What, makes you think of Christmas. I need to have at least, 8 or 9 songs. So based on the poll that I took, I created the blanket off of those songs. And so that is definitely a great way to pull interest in if you're a designer and you're looking to design a cal. Um, you know, Reaching out to your people is a great place to start, because they're going to be your litmus test for what is going to be popular.
Mhm. Yeah, now I recently did a granny stitch sampler blanket. I'm on a mission, which is a little bit different from you. You love to do things that have a theme, tell a story, that sort of thing. I love to focus on stitches and techniques and how we
Mhm.
can make those into beautiful blankets or whatever we're working on. And the granny stitch sampler blanket was one where I challenged 11 other designers to create a
Mhm.
square
Mhm.
that would eventually become the entire blanket. But that square in some fashion had to include the granny stitch. So that was the
Mhm.
focus of that particular blanket. So there are a lot of ways, a lot of things that drive how we decide what that design is going to be. But first and foremost is what do people want to make?
Yes. Yes. And It's kind of iffy. I know that there are cows out there where you can make toys, you can make clothes, you can make, but in those, it's so specific and like it's very, very, finite as far as what you're going to be able to create out of it. Because not everybody wears the same thing. Not everybody loves the same toy. Not every, all of that stuff. And I think the beauty of a blanket is that maybe there's a part you hate in it, or maybe you love the whole thing, but you can play with it.
Yeah.
You can really create it in a way that is personal. So let's talk about what are the different options that usually come up in a typical cal. Like, how can people usually expect to receive a cal? Like, how do they participate?
Well, I know there are different ways out there that, designers use, and it really is specific to what they want to accomplish in that
Mhm.
CAL from the business standpoint.
Yeah.
But I typically run a free CAL, meaning every piece of the entire process is free on the blog. I don't usually send out free PDFs because that's extra value. So you can either participate fully free by just following the blog posts as they're
Mhm.
released, or you can buy the full pattern as one big PDF and
Mhm.
still participate in the CAL, but you already have the pattern in your hand so you know what's coming. I
Mhm.
know that you've done something different in the past with the paid version.
Mhm. So I have done both free and I've done paid. Usually when it is a paid, it's going to be housed on Ravelry just because it has the most intuitive update system available for
Mhm.
a designer to be able to use. All you got to do is just, download your thing, click update, and everybody gets it. And then it's up to the person who received it to update their information they received. However, I do have people who do not want to use Ravelry, who are just staunch against it. And I don't want to alienate them. And because I am neither 100% pro Ravelry or against Ravelry, like I don't care. So those that don't want to use it though, I want to still make it available to them. So I do create an email, and it's the background stuff where you do the create the group and all that stuff, blah blah blah. But I do create an email so that those that want to sign up for it and pay for it can do so, and then they receive it as an email PDF. It's a lot of work, I'm just gonna say.
Mhm.
So I do it because I love you. um so this is it for me to for any designer, honestly, to offer an extra way for you to receive something or to pay for something or whatever. Anytime you add something, it adds time. It
Mhm.
adds behind the scenes hours to
Yeah,
your workload because
it
there are
does.
so many mechanics to it.
Exactly, and, I that's a lot of what drives me and what I decide to do with a CAL. Um, a lot of it has to do with where that f that PDF is housed. So I use a selling platform that's different from Ravelry.
Mhm,
So that you can't really do updates with that one. So,
mhm,
because of that, it has to be the full pattern or nothing. So,
mhm,
I suppose there's a possibility that what you could do is, um, have a paid version where the full pattern is on some place other than Ravelry, and anyone who doesn't wanna use that platform can have it emailed to them. But again, I weigh how much time I have
yeah,
to put
yeah.
into it. I would rather
It's
spend the
labor
time.
intensive, I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, I would rather spend the time working on questions from the group, or putting it on the front end where I'm making the blanket or the sample or whatever it is so that people can see what they're going to be making, rather than
Yeah.
spending my time being, sending things out, that
I
sort of
will
thing.
say that it seems like it's more common now for a blog to host the cal. So you
Mhm.
can find the pattern on on the blog, and a lot of people are using that to, and that's going to actually segue right into our next subject. How does a designer make money if the cal is free? Because if you're going to their blog, many of us have some form of ad on our blog, and we get like pennies on the dollar for you showing up there to utilize our blog.
So that's how we pay for the free version. We
Yes.
make and we also pay for it through pattern sales, but it's not ever really free, but it doesn't really cost you anything. You
Yeah.
can do the whole thing without laying out a cent.
Yeah.
But that's how we earn money, and we know, they're annoying to us too. Ads are annoying.
Oh
They
my gosh,
sometimes
yes.
can interfere with the experience, right? But
Yes.
I will say in my case, I try very hard to make that experience as pleasant and easy as possible. So I know
Mhm.
there are ads on there. I try to minimize them on mobile. I also try very hard to make the meat of the blog post easy to read and easy to
Yeah.
find
Mhm.
so that you're not going, oh, wait, that looks like I'm supposed to click on it. It's really
Yeah.
obvious on my blog
Yeah.
there's really nothing to click on unless it's an obvious link that I've said, here's the link. So
Yes. And
that's how we make money from the free ones.
mm.
And we want you to have a good experience too.
Well, in order to keep things on the free end, I also make videos. I do video tutorials for all of, I shouldn't say all, most of my patterns, because I am actually working towards the goal of being able to monetize my YouTube
Mhm.
channel, which we're a little over halfway there, thank God. But every time that you use that video, which, yes, it took me time to make it. And yes, right now I'm not reaping anything from it, but it's also a part of my philosophy of sowing into others and it'll come back to me kind of thing. So, I mean, I have a different mindset as far as like doing that kind of stuff for free. But when it gets to that point, I will eventually get to monetize my YouTube channel. And that is, so thank you for watching my videos.
Now, I don't put out as many videos as you do because my designs are a lot less complicated, I think, or less involved. So I have really never done a from start to finish video,
Mhm.
because most of my stuff is really easy to understand. But what I will do is, for instance, one of my most popular videos on YouTube is the modern granny stitch, which is not a common stitch that we see out there in the wide crochet world,
Right.
but it's gotten thousands upon thousands of views because I have a couple of designs that use it and it shows exactly
Mhm.
how it fits. So it's not a here, make this blanket from start to finish.
Mhm.
It's a when you get to the modern granny stitch, this is how it all fits together and this is how you turn and this is how. So I will do that. So
Mhm.
my tutorials are a little bit different, I think.
And I love people that do like a stitch because I utilize them all the time.
Mhm,
When I'm looking up things to put in my blankets, sometimes I will just go to YouTube and look for stitch tutorials. And
mhm.
a lot of times, if there's a stitch tutorial, I will link your video in my pattern because I know that they say you should do all of it yourself so that you can, it's all pointing back to your business. Except, you know what? Why reinvent the wheel? And why not point to somebody else's account when, they already did it? Why not let them reap some benefit from it?
Well, I will say that I have heard, and
Mhm.
the search gods are always telling us what we need to do to make our businesses
Mm.
shine,
Yeah.
but linking out to other people actually gives you some authority and expertise because you
Uh-huh.
know what's good and
Okay.
you've already done all the research. Here it is. Let's go. So there are two benefits from that. You don't have to make the video, and you show yourself as an expert because you found that video and you're now sharing it with the wider world.
John brings up a good point, and I'm just going to post that on here. I will buy the pattern when it's discounted for a short time. This way I can help support. Also, I share online when I can. It's
And we really appreciate
amazing.
that.
Yeah, it's amazing support when you share things because it's
Mhm.
an easy and free way to kind of support that designer or designers. And yeah, that's a lot of the reason why so many of us actually create a discounted pattern when we're launching it is just because we want to give people the opportunity to get it. Who doesn't love a sale, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I love being able to get stuff. I just bought a pattern today, and I didn't even know it was on sale until I was in the checkout thing on Etsy, and it's like, oh my god, this is only such and such a price until February 6th, and I'm like, well, thank God I'm buying it today, you know. So who doesn't love a sale?
Well, I now this is a plug for my email list, but I release about 2 to 4 new patterns a month, and every time I do, the only people who get a discount on that release, and it's usually 50%, are
Mm,
my subscribers. So I
yeah,
will send them an email with the discount code, and then they'll have, like, the whole weekend to use it, and
yeah.
then it goes off sale, but yeah, that's how
I
I
will
promote.
usually do I've started doing stuff like that where, those of you that have signed up to my email list, and I am so bad about getting my newsletters out in a timely fashion, but I try to do at least one a month. But I try to post in there everything that's free, that's the latest on my blog. If I have something coming up that's either not free or there's a discount on it or something, I try to be as informational in my newsletters as possible. So, and I appreciate those of you that actually open it up and look at it because I look at the numbers and it's like, okay, so like I had how many people unsubscribe and how many people didn't even open it. It's like, okay, but you know what? There are 50% who actually wanna be.
Well, I wonder, did we answer the question about what the options were? How we
I
make money?
think
I
so,
think we did.
and I'm just clicking all my buttons here. All right, so I know we've kind of talked about this already, but we're gonna talk about what is a solo designer cal. And I'm going to address this subject because I primarily deal with just solo designer cals. And Debbie's expertise is definitely in the collaborative, which is going to be our next subject. But a solo designer cal, and I'm just going to talk from my perspective, is the designer designs, the designer hosts, the designer, and I'll specify what that means as far as hosts. The designer distributes, the designer answers the questions. I mean, you might have a team of people that help as well, but the designer does everything. And so it's a lot of work. And like I said, I will reach out to people and get ideas because sometimes I'm just as dry as a piece of wood as far as like I have no idea what to make. I don't know what everybody wants to make. So I reach out to my people because they're a great source. But as far as what does it mean to have a solo hosted cal? From the very beginning, I always decided I was going to be the different one because I'd been a part of a couple of cals where it was like, hey, the new part just got uploaded on the blog. Go find it, have fun. I was like, gosh, I mean, okay, but there's no fun. It didn't
Mhm.
make me feel like I wanted to participate or interact or, be involved. So I set out to make a different kind of cal. So when I do my Christmas cals, every Saturday we have Saturday coffee chat. I do a live chat. Um, I throughout the entire cal will have references to other patterns, free patterns that people can use that kind of coincide with the subject of the cal. This last time that I did a full hosted cal was my gingerbread cal, which is not this last year, but the year before. And that one, I had 8 other designers that I had reached out to. I didn't know you yet, otherwise um, I would have utilized you. But I had 8 other designers that I reached out to and I said, "Hey, would you be willing to share one free pattern with my people? It has to be Christmas related. And then I said, and then the week that you are being featured or highlighted, you are welcome to share your storefront with my people. And if you want to give them a discount, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. I had at least 6 of them that were very, very on it. They loved the idea. They just shared one pattern with my people. And then I'm not sure, nobody really gave me good feedback as far as like, did you get any sales, that kind of stuff. But, you know, they were able to promote to a different audience. And I'm
Mhm.
all for helping other designers get their names out there because I know for a fact that I do not design at all, you know? And so as far as a solo hosted Cal, that's what I do. And then I try to, like I said earlier, offer options as far as like Ravelry. You can get it in email. Um, I am going back to, and this is me. This is my me. I have decided I'm pivoting this year, and I'm just going to put it out there that I'm going back to all of my patterns are going on my blog for free, and you'll have the option of upgrading to a PDF if you want to. But it's something I feel strongly about, and that's the direction that I'm going in, and it makes me happy. And I everybody has to do their business the way they want to. Every designer has to be personal, so all my designs are going to be on my blog, and I'm working on getting everything updated. But um which I have to stop there because we need to hear from you about the collaborative because what I want to say next has to do with what we're going to talk about after that. So, give me just a second. We'll be right back with that subject.
All right. So I guess
So,
I really have not done very many cows. It's not a model that spoke to me for a very long time. So I've been designing for a while, but in the last couple of years, as I started to collaborate with other designers who were hosting CALs, I saw the benefit of it and how much fun everybody had. Um, so last year, I guess it was actually the end of 2022 or the beginning of 2023, I did a solo cal with my fireside throw, which I had a blast with, but it
yes.
didn't really get me much of any traction.
Okay.
People loved it, but, it didn't really go anywhere, but it's, still a gorgeous blanket. But
Yeah.
then in the fall, I decided to do the Granny Stitch sampler blanket. And
Which
like
I
I
got to be a
said,
part of.
and Biz is
Yay.
in it. Oh my gosh, her square was so wonderful. But people loved it because the squares were very easy to do in the time that they were given. So it was a lot. They were 12-inch squares. There were some challenging squares. There were some easy squares. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, everybody came out with an absolutely gorgeous blanket. And that by far has been one of my most popular anything in my
Uh-huh.
entire Madam Stitch career. Now, I participate in a couple of other CALs, blankets like the one that Made with Goody and this
Mhm.
Loophole Fox do. They do one every fall, and it's in strips. So each week or whenever, however often they release it, a designer has designed a strip of the blanket
Mhm.
and they've been given directive as to what needs to be included in that strip. So they have license to design
Mhm.
according to their personal style, but there are parameters they have to meet so that the whole
Sure.
blanket works together.
Sure.
Um, and the benefit to that is that the maker gets to see, well, in my case, there were 12 different designers. So you got to see and experience the design styles of 12 different people.
That's what I
And
loved
they were
too.
really, really different. I
Mhm.
did interviews with all of the designers so that the people who were in my Facebook group could hear directly from the designer's mouth
Mhm.
how she came up with that design. I think that's so much fun.
It
So much
is.
fun to hear from the designer. Um, and, the Facebook group community work together to solve problems for each other because I can't be on Facebook all the time.
Mhm.
And the other designers who were involved also helped with their
Mhm.
particular squares. So it was just a great event from that standpoint. And I love to collaborate with other people because I too love community over competition. It's our
Mhm.
jobs to promote our colleagues
Mhm.
because our design styles are all so different,
Very different. Yes.
as we shall soon see.
Yes, and well, and you had said something about, you had 12 different people, and I think the beautiful part about that is, and you even said it, the point of view of 12 different people, but then you also interviewed them. So not
Mhm.
only do, because there's 11 million of us out there,
Yeah.
there are so many designers.
Yeah, yeah.
You have a choice everywhere you look, and so this is just a microcosm of that community. But the beauty of it then is because we all hide. We all like, none of us like this camera thing. And there's more of us that are like, I just can't. I just can't be out in front of people. I have a big mouth, so I'm no problem with that. But and I love to talk to people, but it wasn't easy for me because I always felt like such a boob. I was like, oh God, this is so awkward.
Oh, pshaw.
And then it wasn't, and then I was just myself, and you get what you get when you watch me. But anyway, um,
Oh.
we all like to hide, and the beautiful part of you sharing videos of the designers and asking them questions, allowing them the opportunity to just talk about themselves, because it's also something that none of us really like to do. We're
Mhm.
not about it's so awkward because you're like, I don't want to sound salesy and I don't want to feel like I'm puffing myself up. And I don't, but you know what? A space like that gives you the permission and the opportunity. This is who I am, world. And it's so great for the people who are making things. Then you make that personal connection with them.
Yep.
It gives you
Yeah,
the
and
opportunity to just, I know this person now.
yeah, and I think that's key. Designing from a maker standpoint looks like it's in a vacuum. There's no
Hmm.
face behind it. But there
Right.
really is a person who has
Yeah.
preferences and who has an interesting life, and to hear all about how they do their crochet design in that broader sense of their personal life and stuff is just I find it fascinating. So,
Yeah, and you
um,
and
we're
it just makes the whole the great big universe out here so much smaller.
and it makes you wanna make this stuff because now you
Yes,
know
that
why
too.
those stitches were chosen. It's just so
Mhm.
cool.
And a lot of people have stories behind their stuff, whether they intend to have a story or not.
Mhm.
Everybody has a reason why they did the thing they did. So that's the fun part of it.
Yep.
But, so onward. Da 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 da
Yay! This
da.
is it. This is it.
Yay! Kind of what we were all getting to today. So, the collaborative part of working with another designer and taking a vision and bringing it forward into something that's tangible, something other people may or may not want to make. We're hoping may, just because it's fun and it's different and it's an original. And this is going to be both free and paid. So you're going to get one or the other. I mean, like, you have choices.
You do.
What do you think? What do you have to
Oh
say?
my gosh. For those of you who are listening, this has been the most amazing experience I've ever had. Now, I said my granny stitch
Oh,
sampler blanket in the fall was really cool. This has
yeah.
been even better because Biz and I now are really good friends, and
Yes.
we're still learning
Hmm.
what our styles are, but to have her design part of the blanket and
Hmm.
I design part of the blanket,
Hmm.
we now know exactly what each other's style is, and they
Yeah.
are I won't say they're opposite, but they're very different.
They're very far
I
apart.
I'm very but this just shows you how you can come together in one
Yes.
object and
Yes.
combines different styles to create I cannot think of um, another blanket that's like this. I really
Hmm.
can't.
Hmm.
It's just so full of and here's my tagline. I haven't shared this with you yet, but this is the
Okay.
tagline I'm using. It's where the memories blanket is where granny squares meet texture.
Oh,
Boom,
fun. I love it.
ba-doom, yeah. So,
Yes.
it when you see it, you are going to go crazy for it. Now, the other part of it is, um, we'll get to why we came up with this in the first place, but we've both made the blanket. I'm still finishing mine up.
Mhm.
We chose vastly different color palettes.
Oh, yeah.
And that I think is incredibly cool because we don't have to wait for makers to be done. We get to see before it ever starts what happens when you choose totally different styles,
Oh, yeah.
um,
Oh, yeah.
different colors. You've got yours there.
I do.
Maybe it's too soon to show it yet. I left all of mine downstairs by my chair because it's still in
Do I wanna
process. But
give, like, a just a little bitty peek? Like, I don't have to show
yeah,
the whole
just a
thing.
little bitty peek.
Little bitty
So
peek.
I
Okay.
designed 4 different squares, and
Which
Biz
one?
designed 5 different sections, and
Okay.
each of those
So,
sections,
I'm just gonna
holy
show this
cow.
portion.
Okay, there you go. Oh, there we
La,
go.
da, da.
All right, so next week, I watch my Facebook group, watch my Instagram feed, watch all the things because I'm posting my colors. I chose, and I don't know if you can see it because it's almost gone. That
Oh, yeah.
3rd row
Yeah, I
down,
see it right
there are
there.
only 5 skeins left, but I chose a spring color palette,
Mhm, and it's super
that is
cute.
absolutely gorgeous,
It's just
totally out of my comfort zone, totally out of my
it's
comfort zone because
dreamy. I love it.
but I am in love with it, and it's amazing how it changes the look of the squares, the sections. It just
Mhm.
they look completely different.
It does.
Um,
Because I'm just gonna be honest, mine is more like a bougie boho, in the color scheme that I used. Yours makes me think very, like Victorian-esque almost. It has
almost,
that
yeah.
it has that Eastery flavor to it, but it's almost Victorian, and it's so pretty. I love
It
your
really
color.
is pretty. Um, Now we should tell them how we came up with the
Yes,
idea.
yes, we're gonna explain what the memories blanket is. So Deb and I were discussing, like, what would we like to do, because you were just coming off of your square cal, and we were like,
Mhm.
gosh, we should do a collaboration together. And we're like, but this time of year it's a little crazy. Let's maybe look at January or February. And we were like, what would be a theme that would be good? And we're like, well, you know, by the time that you get done with everything after a full year, nobody really wants to make anything anymore because we are just crocheted out. But what if we decided to make something that would celebrate the memories of everything we just made the year before? And it would be a great opportunity to use up our scrap.
Mhm. There's the scrap part. And the other part of the memories part is Biz and I went back over the things that we had designed in 2023 and maybe a little bit before that,
Mhm.
and we pulled out stitch patterns, and textures and all that kind of stuff from the things that we had designed
Mhm.
and put them into the blanket. Now, I will admit that one of my squares really doesn't have a lot to do with anything I made in the year, but I started looking at that particular square. It's made with a lot of front posts.
It's my
It's
favorite
got
one.
let me tell you what I just discovered. You
Oh,
know me, I'm always looking for different ways to feature the granny stitch.
yes.
The middle stitch there in the last round of that particular square, there are front post granny stitches. So the middle
There
stitch of the
are.
granny stitch is the
Yes.
front I just created a new stitch.
Look at
I love
you.
it. I I know, it's such a proud moment. I just
You go,
birthed
girl.
a new granny stitch.
I
But
you
the
know, that's so funny.
the squares are based on things I'd either done this past year and incorporated some of the stitches,
Mhm.
or they were variations that I'd been wanting to try. And
Mhm.
I know your strips incorporate a lot of the different things, the components that you'd used in other things.
Yes, yes, and, not just my blankets, but other designs as well, but
Mhm.
yes, there is literally only one stitch that I grabbed that was new just because I've been wanting to do it, and that's this one.
Oh, I
Otherwise,
love that. That's the one I'm making right now.
isn't
It's
it
really cool.
fun?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. When I was looking at it, my husband's like, "Gosh, that looks like a Navajo blanket." So,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
does. It
I
does.
know, and, like,
But wait till you see what I chose. It's just it's wild.
I
Now, I
can't
want
wait.
you to show this.
Yes.
This is arguably the hardest section, but it might be the most rewarding to look at, and that's
Oh,
that diamond pattern,
mhm.
not the front
Okay,
post. See if you
so
can
no.
find it. Yeah. That right there is most assuredly an intermediate level portion.
Yes.
But I actually I actually had to write it out shorthand because I don't know whether it's because I was trying to make it in the morning before my first cup of coffee kicked in,
Mm,
but I could not wrap my head around it. So I got my pencil out and I went, okay, this is the pattern. So I finally figured out what the construction pattern was, and I went, oh, now I get it.
yeah.
But but you've got tutorials for that section.
Yes, there is a video tutorial for that
Yay.
because it is so now the written patterns, I'm just gonna say it's a freaking nightmare. Um, because because you have to literally read each section and go, "Okay," and then do the
Mhm.
thing, and then do the thing, and then read, and then do the thing. So, but once you get so I sent Deb all these pictures because I'm like, "This is the pattern I was literally obsessed with for the first 6
Yeah.
months
Yeah.
of 2023." Like, I made so much stuff with this stitch because it's so easy, it's so cute, and it's totally addicting. Once you get it down,
Yeah.
you are gonna want to make nothing but that stitch for, like, 6
So,
months.
see, that's the thing is when you look at the paragraph of and I
But
mean
it
a
is a paragraph.
paragraph
Mhm.
for one row, you go, "Oh, holy Hannah, what am I doing here?"
Yeah,
But then it really
this is a
is once
no.
you figure it out, which doesn't take long, I swear,
No.
it's such a rewarding, stitch pattern.
Mhm.
It was so much fun doing all of your stitch patterns. I can't I learned so much making this blanket, and I
That's
think
awesome.
everybody who makes it is gonna be just you're gonna have a gorgeous blanket.
It
Mm,
is so
so
pretty
cool.
when it's done, and I do have full okay, so I took pictures yesterday, and I'm super unhappy with them, so I'm gonna do them again, but I did get some full body shots of this thing, and it's so nice.
Mhm.
It's so cute. I can't
Yep.
wait for you guys to see the whole thing, and I know we've
Well,
just been showing little bits and pieces here and there.
that's gonna
Um
start to happen next week, Biz,
Yes,
because this
yes.
weekend, I have sunshine coming my way.
Ah,
So, I'm gonna try to get pictures so that we can start to show everybody the finished product. It's gonna be
yes.
so much fun.
That's so awesome. I'm gonna go outside and get some more pictures because we do have, fairly decent weather. But I'm gonna probably have to go in the front yard because the backyard, my little dog doesn't go to the bathroom in the same spot all the time anymore, and it's just a landmine. So we're gonna go out in the front yard. I know that was probably too much information, wasn't it?
But hey, that's what we're
But
here
hey.
for is TMI.
So yeah. Um, So the memories blanket, just to kind of recap, it is meant for you as the maker to take the opportunity to revisit, and this is through the using your stash and using up the
Mhm,
colors that you have. This is really meant for you to destash. It's really meant for you to revisit all the things that you've made before, the things you loved, and make a memory, a new memory for yourself. Like
absolutely.
we really want you to dive into the memory part of this. Like
Mhm,
you are creating something for you. This isn't
mhm,
now you can give it away. Of course, we're not going to tell you you can't, bless somebody with it if you want to, but really bless yourself. Make
mhm.
something for you out of all the things that you've given away or you've sold or you've done for others. Make this for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's, just the specifics, it's worsted weight yarn, so if you're
Mhm.
looking to get started, grab up all those worsted weight yarn, scraps,
Mhm.
anything, just put them in a pile if you need to get more to go with it. I actually had to buy yarn, believe it or not, with all of that stuff behind me. I didn't have what I needed. Um,
It
but
was
I
just a good
chose to
reason.
yeah, well, that cubby was completely full of yarn, and you can see that I have drained it. But I had to buy some, but that gave me a blanket that I knew was going to be coordinated in
Mhm,
a way that I would be happy with. But yarn stash, do it. Go grab it
mhm.
up, put it in a basket, let's get started.
Yeah, because I started I shouldn't say I started, I really started and finished with just my stash. Because all of the colors that are in this are what I had used in, my Christmas blanket that I made. The 2 that I made, I just took all the leftovers from that and made this. And, but that was what I had the most of. But you can really like a few of the testers have literally only dug in their stash and created
Wow,
some really fun stuff, really great
that's
colors.
awesome.
I can't wait to show you even our testers pictures
Yeah,
because they are just going to be so cute. And but really it's so much about not having to go and spend more money if you don't have it.
right.
It's very much about using what you have on hand.
So excited to get started.
Oh, Donna's talking about her dog. So, yes, yes. I mean, if you have puppy dog issues, take care of an older dog with health issues. So, my little dog, she's 13 and I'm pretty sure she's blind. We're not 100% sure on her cognitive reasoning anymore because she got lost in the dark the other night and ended up behind the shed. And then today she walked outside and was just staring at a tree for like minutes and then finally laid down in the sun. So we just love her to death and she has to wear a diaper to bed. But other than that, she's really, living her best life now. So I just don't fuss at her about where she going potty because she's too old for that.
No, no,
So, but we love our pups.
we do.
So yes, but yeah. Anybody have any questions? Is there anything that you want to know that maybe we didn't answer? I know I talk a lot, so I might have said it. But you know, talk to us, people. What do you want to know? Neighbors talk. As long as there's no pain. Yeah, as far as we know, she's just got usual arthritic old lady stuff. So, but yeah, as far as the Cal and stuff is concerned, reach out if you have any questions. Um, Also, make sure that we are going to be posting updates on Instagram and Facebook primarily, and then we may be adding some shorts to YouTube. So there may be some information there, but those are the places you're going to find us. I know Deb has got to sign up for her email. Make sure that you avail yourself of that. And then I will probably put it out there as well for you to sign up for my email if you want to get updates on the when the stuff is coming out and when it's going to be available. But it will be available on both of our blogs. Um, Deb has made the squares, and the squares will be available on her blog. And I have done the strips in between, and that information will be on my blog. So there is going to be a little bit of blog hopping just because it doesn't make sense for both of us to put everything on one. Um,
Right, but what we will do is, I don't know if you're planning to do this, Biz, but I'm gonna have a main post
mhm,
where it's like Cal Central. So
okay.
anything that all the pieces will be linked, even though it might not be on my blog, it will be
Mhm.
linked out to where you can find it. So anything that's on your blog will have a link on my
Same,
main
same,
post so that you can
same.
go to that main post and see everything you need.
Yeah, I will. And I mean, like WordPress, you have a WordPress, right?
Mhm.
Okay, yours is a little bit fancier. I don't Mine is a Blogspot from 2004, I think it is. And so it has a little bit less fancy parts to it, but mine will be the same where you've got a main one that talks about the Cal with all the links and then, it'll send you all the parts and all that
It
stuff. So,
gets the
well,
job done.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
And there we
it'll
go.
work. It'll work. But if you guys don't have any questions, let's talk about what have you been watching this week, Deb?
Well, same old, same old. Oh, let's see. I think I watched another episode of Reacher, really good,
Yeah,
on
I gotta catch
Apple
up on that one.
TV. But my husband and I have been catching up on end of season CBS shows, all the NCISs, and so help me, Todd just makes me so happy. But we're catching up on all of that stuff to see where they left off because it's been a hot second since they
Uh-huh.
were on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's been since last May since
Holy
they've been
cow.
on, right? So we're kind of catching up on that. And I gotta say, thankfully, there's no football this weekend. We don't watch the Pro Bowl. Thank you. So we're gonna be taking a break. Gotta tell you, that's gonna but
I was
spring's
not
train
so happy with who won, I just gotta say.
no, me neither, but that's alright.
It's for
Whatever.
another year. But, yeah, so, we just came off that fast for 2 weeks, and in that time, we were not watching any of our trash reality TV, so my husband has decided that is something we're not going back to, is trash reality TV, which I'm perfectly fine with, because it always put me in a bad mood. But reality TV is not something he's willing to give up. So now we are watching on the Food Network, we're watching America's Worst Cooks. Yeah, yeah. Where it's a competition where you get these really bad cooks and they go through this boot camp to become good cooks. And it's fun. It's one of those ones where you're not in a nasty mood because you watched it. It's just like there's very little drama other than I can't believe you put raw chicken on that thing. It's like the worst thing that happens. Or oh my god, you double dipped and you tasted twice. You want me to eat that? So
Oh my gosh.
it's as bad as it gets.
Oh my
So it's
goodness.
it's a far more positive, thing, but we're still on reality TV.
We watched Lego Masters. It's not new
Did you?
episodes, but, my
Mm,
boys were raised on Legos. I had them all over the place, and it's just amazing to see some of the things they come up with.
crazy.
And Will Arnett, I mean, come on.
He's funny and
He's
adorable.
So we do watch that, but yeah, that's, we're basically going back and just kind of finishing some things, and I have to say that I did cancel BritBox 'cause I wasn't watching it, but that's
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna take it take a break
Mhm.
and hang out on the networks for a while, and then when that's done, I'll go back and we'll be
Yep.
fine.
And that's how we do almost all of our streaming, like, different channels that we do. The only one that we always have is Paramount. Otherwise, like, right now I'm doing Discovery Plus, but that's because there's a lot of really good murder shows on there, and there's a lot of cooking shows on there. So that's why we're on that right now, but every once in a while, we get a wild hair, and we happen to see something on Acorn or BritBox or something, and so we'll, like, get it for a month, binge watch everything we wanna watch, and then get rid of it. So, like, it's like renting a movie.
Kinda, sorta, yeah.
So yeah, that's how we do it, but because I do the same thing, I get to the point where, like, there's nothing left to watch on a particular channel, there's no reason to keep it, so that's why it's kind of nice the way that they have it broken up now, because when it was cable and you had to pay for it whether you were watching it or not, and you had
Right?
750 music channels nobody listened to, like, why am I paying for this? So, yeah, it's different. But beyond that, I think we've
I
I think we've covered it all.
I think it yeah, I think it is done. It is
Yes,
done.
it is done.
Yep, go
It
like
is
all the things, go
time.
sign up for all the things that we talked about,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
we hope that you will join us. We're not done with Cal's in the podcast, but I
Mhm.
hope you'll all join us for this Memories Blanket Cal because it's just so special.
Yes, and we're so excited to share it with you guys. And like I said, I can't wait to show you the whole thing. And I can't wait to show you the testers ones too, because like I said, they really dug into their stashes and pulled some stuff out. One other thing I do want to state, we both have Facebook groups on
Mhm.
Facebook. Mine is called Busy Crochet Cal Group, and Deb's is called,
Madam Stitch Crochet.
okay.
Oh, wait,
So,
Madam Stitch Crochet Corner, I think,
okay.
something like that.
So go make sure that you're part of the Facebook groups as well, because that's where all of our Cal stuff is going to be showing up. And it's going to be on our business pages as well. But that's where a lot of the like chitty chat information is going to be,
Yeah.
is in the groups. And we'll be sharing the links, etc., all that. So other than that, have an amazing Friday, everybody. All right. Bye.
See ya.